going to be making something a little bit different. So I've been in this group on, I'm in part of this group, and it's called Appellations and recipes and foods. And I found that some of the cuisine that my father would make, actually a lot of the American cuisine is derived from Appalachian foods, which is considered mountain people. Anything, basically, I've been talking to some folks, and anything that moves was eaten for food. And so I have some frog legs. So I found these frog legs at one of my favorite stores, and they're hard to come by, and they're not from America, but I wanted to try them. There seems to be a shortage on frog legs and rabbits, but you can find them. I found them at the rabbit I found at a different location, and at a different store, and then I found some chickens, Purdue chickens, which is basically a sustainable chicken here, and so I'm going to make two kinds of proteins, poultry, well, reptile. It's a frog, a reptile. I didn't know. Is it a frog or reptile? I have no idea. Maybe they are. Anyways, so, and I thought, what would go well with frog legs? Oh, mashed potatoes. Yeah, I think I will enjoy this one because this is totally different. And so my father, when he went to purchase some books, but I happened to go into Biloxi, Mississippi, and where my daughter, my oldest daughter, was serving. And we came across some cookbooks, and I always like cookbooks, and because cookbooks tell history, right, and the people's cuisine. And I was looking through this one cookbook that I hadn't opened in a long time, Ma's Cookin', Mountain Recipes Spiced with Mountain Customs and Sayings and Superstitions. So there was a lot of superstition. So I started going through here. It's got smothered chicken, stuffed roast beef, and sausage, bachelor's pie, country fried steak, meatloaf, beef and pork loaf, pig's feet, meat stew, buckwheat cakes, pancakes, sourdough cakes. I mean, there's a whole wild duck, fried quail. I found some wild goose, and I found some wild quail, actually. Some sour cream rabbit, venison roast, fried rabbit, coons and possums. And I guess coons are related to possums. And this is a really interesting book. It says, don't suppose you city folks have an awful lot of luck in the hunting coons and possums. I've been passing by and see them strips of timber that you-ins call parks in your cities, and it sure looks to me like the hunting would be awful sparse. But when you do have some luck, try them following recipes for coon and possum. And then we have groundhog and terrapin, I don't know what the heck that is, snapping turtles and fried turtle, and there we have frog legs. And it's a real simple recipe, and I really like this book. I was reading it and I was just falling in love, and it's got some really delicious recipes in a sweet corn dish for pudding. I love corn pudding, and just green corn pudding. I mean, I've never even heard that. Molasses pie. There's Abe Lincoln pie. Ozark apple pudding. I don't know what Ozark is. Maybe that's the place. But basically, black walnut pie, pawpaw pie, and pawpaws. I guess it's a type of seed or fruit. I don't know. But it's really interesting that I found this book but I found these frog legs, and I've always wanted to try them, and I've never tried them before. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to season my chicken for Purdue chicken, which is a sustainable, which is pretty neat. And I'm gonna season it. And I'm gonna make it a little bit of a Caribbean type of seasoning. And while that's marinating in its seasoning, we'll get started on the frog legs. What I have is a mixture of seasonings, and I found out that curry is a blend of seasonings, and so is masala. So I did a mixture of all these seasonings, and basically what I do have some masala here, which is a mixture of all these seasonings, and then I have turmeric, and I have some coriander, which is already in the masala, but I added a little bit more, and some nutmeg, some garlic, and some onion, and this is smoked paprika because I want to get that smoky flavor in there, and some white pepper since I ran out of black pepper. That's okay. And then I have some salt, and what I'm going to add to that is where's my seasoning? A little bit of thyme. We all could use some thyme, right? Yeah. So, and I'm not going to make these spicy. I'm just going to crumble that up, kind of mix it. And then what I did was I marinated this overnight in some Bulgarian yogurt. There's a difference when you coat your protein with the yogurt, it goes into the meat, whereas you do the buttermilk, it just coats it. So I'm going to use the Bulgarian yogurt, and I'm going to season it, and then I'll come back after it's marinating in some seasoning, and we'll do the frog legs. And yeah, I'm just going to stick all that in there, and just dump all that in there and just kind of coat it all. I like the smell of that. And what I did with each one of these, my aunt taught me how to do this. She loved to cook. We have a lot of cooks in the family, and we have a lot of cooks in the family. And she grew up on a farm in Louisiana, and so a lot of the foods remind me of the Appalachian, which our great-grandfather was obviously European, and he married, well, the family has said that she was Choctaw and African, or I'm not quite sure, but he had a large family. I could be wrong, but there's more documentation for my great-grandfather than there is for my great-grandma. So, with that being said, that makes perfect sense where the Appalachian cuisine came from. But this isn't Appalachian. This is Mary's own stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this up and put it in the refrigerator. I have some panko breading here. This is panko, and then I have some flour, a little bit of my smoked paprika, some white pepper. You can use black pepper or pink pepper, whatever kind of pepper you like, you prefer. And then I have some onion powder in there and some salt. I'm just going to mix it up. And then I have some mixture of egg white in there, and egg white and a regular egg, and a little bit of, I have a little bit of the kefir, or you could use, I just put it in there. I mean, you don't have to do it that way, but I did. I'm going to take pan. And I'm going to put this up. I'm going to turn it on. So I'm putting on my fan here. I want to move this out of the way. Yeah, let me just make some room here. Move it out of the way, and then I'm going to take one of my plates. Well, I guess I can use a round plate here. Plate. Could be any plate. Just put a guard on top. Actually, do I have to be so complex? No. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to heat up the bottom of my skillet with some oil, your preference. I use expeller press, canola, and sometimes I'll use grapeseed. And you know what? In moderation. That's what my father used to say. Everything in moderation. So, and let that heat up real well. And just for the extra absorption, I use some paper towels. So be very careful because you don't want to catch fire. And so what I have, I'm going to take my seasoned, after I marinated my frog legs in the Bulgarian yogurt, I seasoned it with salt and pepper. And, well, I rinsed it. So I rinsed it off, all the Bulgarian yogurt. You just rinse it off. And then basically, you know, just allowed it to marinate in the yogurt. That's heating up. And what I'm going to do is just dredge my frog legs. Okay? And I'm just kind of winging this because I talked to the butcher and he told me how to do it, and I said, okay, well that sounds really easy. And then I'm just going to put it in the egg mixture, put it in the panko, and you can season the panko if you'd like, but I think there's plenty of seasoning in this, so I'm not going to be bothered. I'll put this on the side a little bit. I'm going to dredge another one. I heard it tastes like chicken. And stick it in my that. Put it in the panko. Now I'm just going to place it down my frog legs. Stick them in the pan. It'll keep my hands clean. Add a little bit more panko. I only have 4 frog legs, so this should be really easy. And I'm going to keep this flour because I can make I can actually make a gravy that would go well. Okay. I want to make sure all that's covered. This aside. Dredge it. Okay. Put it in the egg mixture. Panko. And stick it in there. Lower the heat. I'm going to lower it because you don't want them to overcook. I got a hot spot, so I'm going to switch that around. Okay? I'm going to wait till they're done a few minutes, flip them over. starting to look nice. I'll show you what they look like. So I'm going to let them cook for a while, and then on my next clip I'll show you what